Hello, friends, and welcome to the Healing Corner podcast, where we come together twice a month and have real ass conversations about real life shit. I am Coach Yams, one of the hosts of the Healing Corner podcast, and we've got a guest with us today, Humble Bay, and I will let him introduce himself. And then the other host today with us, Deb, she will
Hey,
introduce
yeah.
herself, and then we'll get this conversation started.
Peace and love. Hello world, how you doing? I am Humble Bay, Moorish American national, national to the land, the continent of North America. I've been studying Moorish science and having this experience for about 12 years now, and I've become a master in my journey. And my goal is to bring you into marvelous light out of the darkness that you've been in for so long, and your great grandmother and great grandfathers have been in for so long. So, if you love liberation, listen today and take notes. Peace and love.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Deb. I'm the owner of Deb's Healing Cornerstone, also Deb's Healing Cornerstone Intuitive here on YouTube as well as other platforms. So I'm excited to be on here and get this information out for you guys to just have a chance. We're definitely a platform of diversity. So definitely, if you're interested, stay tuned and check us out.
Yes. And I am Yamana, aka Coach Yams. I'm the owner of Healing is Work Coaching, where I'm coaching women to live life on their terms and to stop doing things out of obligation because it's your life to live. So, yeah, we're going to get into this conversation. Humble Bay, take it away.
Yes, yes, indeed, I will. All right. So, our title today is Unpacking Identity and Nationality and Birthrights. But first, I want to take you on a little magical journey through this fantasy land that we all live in, that we think is so real, and we think we breathe in air and that we live in free. So I want to take you to the movie The Wizard of Oz, right? And I want to take you through this whirlwind because you bumped your head and you woke up in this strange land and you thought black and white was reality. Now let's look at this thing because the chessboard is the game. You want to come out of the game and be the player. What you didn't know is in your fantasy land is that people are not colors. There is no red, green, yellow, and purple people, especially black people. Why? What do you mean, Humble Bay? I've been black all my life. I'm proud to be black. James Brown told me so. But is your skin really black? Like, come on, let's look at this. Is there a black nation? What makes you happy to be black? What is being black? Your computer, your shirt, your hat might be black, but there is nothing about your skin tone that says that you are black, which means dead in the eyes of the law, dead in appearance, seeming to be real, but having no real life. This is why we get our rights and our minds molested every day because we fell subject to being in the Wizard of Oz and looking for the man behind the curtain and not looking in the mirror at ourselves and coming out of the fantasy of being unreal. Now, look at the Wizard of Oz. Look at who she met first. She met a straw man, right? On a gold yellow brick road because this land is built on your inheritance. Your inheritance was always silver and gold, like the moon and the sun, because this land sits on silver and gold, the rich minerals that you are made of. So when Dorothy came to the straw man, what was the straw man looking for? A brain. Could not think for itself, could not speak for self, right? But Dorothy was looking at her own reflection, her own personality disorder, because she did not believe in herself. And the personality or the reflection that she spoke to had enough of a brain to speak, but not to know what to say. So you've been twisted, not only in your mindset, but even where you are. On the land, on the map, you might see United States, but everybody knows that we're at America. But in kindergarten, you're taught that this is United States. This is your fantasy land with borders, and everybody doesn't know who they are. And everybody's God is the money, the oil, and the drugs. Nobody really stands up for a real God that lives inside of them to say, hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't think you're my God to lock me up and put me in some chambers. Why haven't I locked into the chambers of my own mind and my own fantasy land to create my own reality? So Dorothy had no brain because she thought that people were colors, and she thought that land could be separated and that nobody could travel freely. You had to just travel on this one path. You can't think anywhere else. You have to stay on this one path. But everybody knows, for instance, in kindergarten, that you must have a name in its correct grammatical order. You must have a name that starts with a capital letter and then lowercase letters to follow. We all know this. This is kindergarten. We know this. But remember, Dorothy didn't have a brain. She's an adult without a brain. So people think that when they grow up and get bills and they think that these things are their names in all capital letters, they have not a brain to think and say, wait a minute, I don't think that's me. I don't think that reads correctly to address me as a real person, as a real being. Why don't we ask these questions on the daily? We know this in kindergarten. We know that colors are not people. We know that proper nouns have to be spelled correctly. But in this fantasy land that we living in right now, every day, you go to work, you breathe this air, but you still conform to being a color in an incorrect grammatical order of being. So nobody has to take you seriously. You're still in a fantasy land. Why should I listen to you about rights and who you are and who you want to be, and when you don't even exist? Yeah, I see you over there talking. I see you over there trying to convey something to me, but you can't even explain to me who or what you are. Do you even know? Now it feels good to pay bills. It feels good. It just feels good. I don't know why. It just feels good. But you didn't stop to think and say, why wouldn't I question these things? Why do my children know that people are not colors and this whole thing is a fantasy, but I don't know? And I'm their guardian. I'm more of a minor than my child is that's watching the movie. So now let's go on this gold path, because we have not a brain. I just explained to you why you don't have a brain. You're not even presenting yourself in proper form. So now you have to get more friends or more personalities so you can figure out who you really are in this life. So now we must go down the yellow brick road once again. And we go to the Tin Man. What you didn't know is that not only did the Tin Man not have a heart, or in other words, the courage. Excuse me, he didn't have the oil. I'm jumping ahead of myself. The Tin Man didn't have the oil. He didn't have the adrenaline or the courage to speak for himself. He shook every time he spoke the truth. Why? Because in this life, in this 3D realm that we live in, the Tin Man is known as a tax identification number, or in other words, social security number. And in your Bible, it says that in the near future, no one will be able to do business without the mark and the number of the beast. Everybody thinks that this is something that's coming down the line, but it's just that your oil or the secretion from your pineal gland was stripped from you, so you wouldn't question these things. But this number is the number of the beast, meaning that you have to get permission to have security over your social life of the state. You need a license. A license means permission. You need permission to try and be yourself. So they gave you this number because they consider you an animal, a four-legged beast. Not only a four-legged beast, but a four-legged beast that can speak. A dog that can talk in this world. That's how they look at you. That's how they looked at Trayvon Martin when they took his life. Because being in a fantasy land and trying to live reality can't mix. So you hit your head really hard. Because not only do you have these instruments that you can't play with, called a birth certificate, a social security, and a driver's license, but you're subject to all three of those. Not only that, but I want you to tell me if anybody in this room can remember signing up for any of these things when you came out of your mother to say that these things are yours and they belong to you. But every day we have minors running around saying that these are my birth certificates, my social security, my driver's license, but they didn't create it. They didn't narrate it, and they for damn sure can't operate it. So they have no courage, no oil, no fire to speak because there's no knowledge, no brain, no insight, no real feeling, period. So now let's go to the lion, because the lion has become a coward. The lion no longer knows that he's this ferocious predator of the jungle that conquers all and is the king of all or the queen of all. So they sit like a statue, docile, stagnant, not in realization of their own power that lives inside of their own body. No heart to speak truth. They took our hearts away. They took the love away from us. How? What do you mean? Well, we just went over it. They took our ability to think away from us. They took our ability to recharge ourselves, to bring our own happiness to ourselves away from us. And then finally, they took the love. They took the recollection or the immemorial memory within our mitochondrial DNA that man needs no book, no school, or no university to relearn himself. So he no longer has his rightful tools. This is where 85% of North American people are in the world, lost in wilderness. So when Dorothy finally awakens and pulls this curtain back, she realizes that man cannot be her God. Another being that lives and bleeds and has thought cannot be her God. You must be your own God. You must be your divinity. In the Bible, it says, at first the Word was with God, and then the Word was God. You must speak up because a closed mouth never gets fed. A closed mouth never releases the detachment of what parasite has infiltrated their brains, because this is what we have all been faced with. We all have not seen ourselves in the mirror correctly to know that nobody outside of us can speak for us or tell us who we are. We must know, and we must speak, and we must know that we are home wherever you are on earth, wherever your feet are planted, wherever those red hills that click 3 times, wherever that is, that's where you are home on the land. And there is nobody that can take that birthright away from you. There is nobody that can take the God inside of you away from you. Why? Because the God that lives inside of you is literally truth. When is the last time you seen truth begotten? When is the last time you seen truth getting their ass beat? Truth will set you free. Isn't this what Jesus said? The everlasting gospel, the everlasting truth. Everything that you're looking for outside of you already lives within you. If you have a God and you say that the Most High is your God, your supreme being, then why is the land not yours? Why wouldn't you make claim on the land just based on your divinity? We're not even going into Moorish American nationality yet. We're talking about opening the curtain and seeing who the real I am really is. Your divinity, the astrology that makes up your whole being, the 12 signs on the wheel that we all here to master. If it's Gemini season and I'm not a Gemini in my sun sign, I'm still a Gemini in that season because I'm living in my body and I have full life, meaning I'm not dead physically and I'm not dead spiritually. I claim my full life. So you have to wake up from this fantasy land and this dream and start moving in your proper person, meaning capital letter in the front of your name and all lowercase on the rest of those letters. That's one in their proper person. That's one who is considered competent and not a kid, not a minor, someone who can speak for themselves and free themselves and liberate themselves. So when we all bumped our head The thing that we forgot is that we all have the right to contract and that we all have the right to terminate these contracts. What? I said we all have the right to terminate these dead contracts that didn't come from our creator. This is the whole game on your life. And if you don't realize that you, the flesh and blood being within inside of you, is the real connection to your creator and the real ruler on the land, then you will forever be a slave on a sardine ship. And if you believe that we are all dark-skinned people came in the millions on a ship, then you really lost your mind. You're still in kindergarten. And this is why they teach you to have the ultimate respect for your oppressor and the less of respect for yourself, because you'll never stand up to a master who gave you everything but taught you nothing about yourself. You have to break that spell. The wizard committed the ultimate sorcery on your parents and your own mind. When you
Okay.
wake up to these realities,
Mm-hmm.
Islam, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
I know I'm
so the
rambling.
show only
I
goes
know
for
I'm
30
rambling. Go ahead.
minutes. Yeah, I was gonna say the show only runs for 30 minutes, and I do appreciate the analogy that you did with the Wizard of Oz. That was dope. And so with there only being 9 minutes left, what would be, I guess, three things, three bullet point takeaways for people to step into their power?
All right. That's a good number. The Trinity is always powerful. So, three things. One, I challenge everybody, and this is a curse breaker for your mind and for your family and for your children. Go on Google. I want you to search Webster's Dictionary, 1928. And I challenge you to look up the word black and break the curse on yourself. And in the word black, you're going to look for brackets in a dictionary. Those brackets contain the original meaning of the word, the original vibration. When you break that spell, you'll conjure up other things that will lead you to other definitions. Second thing, I challenge everybody to look up the Bill of Rights, in other words, called the American Constitution 1791. Everybody knows about this freedom of speech, freedom of press, all this stuff, but you need to know it to say it for yourself. So I challenge anybody to look that up and to reference 1871, which is when democracy started, versus 1791 in a Republican form of government for the people. Third thing, go to my IG at Moorish Gold 913 and just scan down my page. And don't be afraid to DM me and ask me any question. No question is stupid. No question is ignorant. And I will take you to the heights, and I will teach you how to take yourself to the heights and break the chains on your brain, your physical being, and your spiritual being. And never forget to always start every affirmation with I am. Everything starts with I am, and then you rise in frequency from there. If you can master the I am affirmation, you can master jurisdiction. Juris meaning right, and then diction meaning words. That's all I'm gonna say. Just to keep it preliminary, because it's very deep to dive into this information, and I don't want to confuse anybody. Just want to give them like the milk before they get the meat.
Absolutely. Those are three good points. Deb, did you have any questions that you wanted to bring up before we wrapped?
Oh yeah, I did have a question for you. So when it comes to pertaining to the census that we have, and what are your thoughts on that?
Good question. When it comes to the U.S. census at North America, we have to look at who are U.S. citizens and who are not. People have to really ask themselves, when did they sign up to be a U.S. citizen versus being an American citizen, and why haven't you questioned the difference? Because you can't even be technically counted on a census if you're not a real U.S. citizen, because that's called naturalization. Very few people are naturalized U.S. citizens. That's why a lot of people's vote doesn't count, because they're not truly counted as a citizen because they never truly signed up. They're just subject.
And then Latasha, introduce yourself quickly. And then do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions because he and I discussed this, and I'm late, so I don't know what y'all discussed earlier. But I'm Coach Latasha, owner of Spiritual Key Essential. I'm a spiritual and self-love coach as well as intuitive reader, and you can find me on Instagram by the name Ask Essential, or Facebook a Spiritual Key Essential, and YouTube.
Awesome. Do you have any parting words for the listeners, Humble Bay?
Yes. Save yourself to be yourself. Don't over concern or over your worry yourself in the rise in your frequency and your intelligence and your knowledge and wisdom with family, friends, attachments. You have to really discipline yourself and really fast from people and want, or in, let me say, desire to be everything that you are and be the greatest that you are, just for yourself, not to show it off, not to make it bling bling, just really for yourself, to say and know how much you love yourself for the world. Peace and love. Don't be afraid to contact me. Again, my information on IG is at MoorishGold913. Also, you can visit my website, MoorishGold13.bigcartel.com. And if you're interested in private consultation on nationality and status and birthrights in depth, because we don't have a lot of time to do it here, please contact me at my email at morishgold13@hotmail.com. I look forward to speaking with you all. And if not, I challenge you to go on this magical journey on your own, just based on what I said in reference.
And I would just like to amplify that one of the key takeaways for me, and something that I practice in my daily life, is the power of words, the power in the tongue, and how you carry yourself. The words that you choose to use to carry you through this journey really does have power over how this thing plays out. And
Yes,
so lean into educating yourself and empowering yourself with your words, because the power is within.
fine.
My two coach ladies, before we part, do y'all have anything that y'all want to leave the people with?
I don't have anything. I just grateful that we're able to have this on our platform. Again, guys, if you are interested in being a guest, definitely check out our links below and fill out a flyer and get on here, because we enjoy all the different aspects that everyone has to bring to this. So just know that you're welcome here.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and know that healing comes in different ways. There's multiple ways to heal. So the birthright, healing the birthrights, right? Healing your inner soul. There's different ways to heal. So be open to healing in all ways.
That's right. That's right. I'm
Yep.
glad you said that. It's your
Yep.
blood, y'all. It's the
Yeah.
bloodline. It's the water. If you want to walk on water, be like Jesus. Walk on that blood. Save
Yep.
your whole bloodline. That's what this thing is about.
Yeah. And Humble Bay's contact information will be in the show notes so that you'll have easy access to click on a thing to get right to them. That is all for the Healing Corner podcast this week. We will be back the second Saturday of May. Coach Latasha will not be joining us on the next show and going forward. She's going in a direction that feels good for her, and we wish her well. Continue to support her and follow whatever she's got going on. And we will see y'all the next time. We thank y'all so much for being a part of this. If you've got questions about anything, we've got a form on our site, thehealingcornerpodcast.com. Also going to be in the show notes where you can submit questions or show topics, because we want to know what y'all want to talk about, what y'all want to hear more about, because we're all about healing from all angles. And nobody's path is the one right way. There are multiple ways to get to what is healing for you. And that's what we are all about here at the Healing Corner Podcast. Talk to y'all soon.
Peace and love.
Bye.
Bye.